This meeting is now called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll have a roll call now. Mr. Bacon? Here. Mr. DeCrosta? Mr. Lawrence? Present. Ms. Lewis?
Here.
Ms. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Thielacker?
Here.
President Baiocchi is present. Mayor DeMarco? Stephen Corbel?
I'm here.
Mr. Brent?
Here.
Mr. Morris? Chief Williams?
Present.
Okay. First order of business is the President's report. I'd like to read or enter the accomplishments for 2025 into the record. Reflecting on 2025, our municipality has made tremendous strides in modernizing infrastructure and ensuring we are prepared for future growth. This past year was defined by our collective dedication to community needs, resulting in enhanced public spaces, strengthened safety initiatives, and increased engagement. Together, we have built a stronger community. This report highlights the key actions taken by Council to ensure a transparent, responsive, and welcoming government for everyone. I've asked Ms. Martin to read through the list since she led Council through these accomplishments. Ms. Martin.
Thank you, President Baiocchi. We adopted new bylaws for council-appointed committees that include Shade, Tree and Shrub Committee, Arts and Culture Advisory Council, Parks and Recreation Advisory Council, the Planning Commission, and Environmental Advisory Council. The Tree City Times became totally digital, with the newsletter available as an email version as well as PDF online version published 6 times a year. We implemented a traffic calming policy and traffic calming request form. A new street sweeper vehicle was received and was used in the fall on a pilot basis. A new leaf vacuum truck was received and placed in service this past fall. A geographic information system was implemented with the assistance of a summer intern. This system will be essential to fully use our asset management system. The borough was designated as a bird town by the Western Pennsylvania Audubon Society with the assistance of Patricia Harris, a member of the Environmental Advisory Council. The borough purchased the previously leased solar panels that will result in a projected cost avoidance of $250,000. Radar driver feedback signs were placed on Ardmore Boulevard and Greensburg Pike. The band shell dedication took place on June 1st. This past June, our second Pride Day event was held at the Westinghouse Lodge. We renamed all alleys throughout the borough. We received a grant in 2024 to conduct a comprehensive tree inventory, which began in 2025. The deer hunting archery program was expanded to non-residents. The Cook Park and Woodside Road step replacement project started. Pool locker and bathroom renovations began. Ryan Glen Park now has a pollinator garden and is one of the borough of Forest Hill's most beautiful parks, with a safer playground area and the return of native plants after the eradication of invasive plants and trees. We applied for 7 grants in 2025 from the state, county, and other grantors. In total, we are awarded over $2 million. These funds are being used to address our state-mandated sewer repairs as well as other projects. We continue to work with the revitalization of the Forest Hills Business District group, comprised of Borough Council, Forest Hills Community Alliance, and the Planning Commission. Approved resolution establishing an official policy that Forest Hills Police Department will not enable or assist Immigration and Customs Enforcement or Customs and Border Patrol in matters related to civil law enforcement or the ICE program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. For the mayor's report, Mayor DeMarco could not be with us this evening. She asked if I would read her report for the meeting. I am reading a little bit of an abbreviated report. Report is in the agenda. She met with outgoing Mayor Frank Porco for orientation and coordination. She thanked him for his past and ongoing membership. She also met with Police Chief Chuck Williams for coordination and orientation. Met with Allegheny County Mayor's Association in Borough for the first quarterly meeting of the year. She submitted letters to Congressman Deluzio, Senator Fetterman, and Senator McCormick regarding a request for congressional oversight hearings on the actions of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Division of the Department of Homeland Security. She held preliminary discussions regarding community engagement events. Initial thoughts are being adjusted to the realities of budget and timing to be elucidated further in February. And finally, she met with Professor Matt Mihalik of the Tepper School of Public Policy at CMU regarding a class project with Forest Hills. That's to work on preliminary ideas for marketing and promotion of the Forest Hills Business District. And to continue with my duties of reading other people's reports, the Forest Hills Community Alliance, no one could be here, but they asked that this be read into the minutes. At FHCA's board meeting on January 20th, board members reviewed the 9 proposals submitted from architecture and design firms in response to the public notice RFPs for 2 initial components of the Forest Hills Forward Initiative: Main Street Revitalization, which is the Ardmore Boulevard Business District, and the Innovation Park adjacent to the Borough building. The board selected 5 firms to move forward with interviews. All firms will be notified in writing of their status on January 22nd, 2026. Interviews with the 5 selected firms are being scheduled to take place on January 30th, February 3rd, and February the 6th. The FHCA will inform council of the selected provider or providers prior to or at the February Borough Council meeting. We have no manager's report this evening. Chief Williams, do you have a report?
Just a few things to say. As you know, there may be a very large snowstorm this weekend. All we can ask you to do is be very careful when travel. You have to, if you could please keep an eye out for the neighbors, especially the elderly and anybody who may need some assistance. See some cars on stage on the road, please call 911 and let us know so we can get out and help them and get them off the road. Other than that, that's all I have to see. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Chief Williams. Mr. Corbel? Mr. Corbel, do we have a solicitor's report?
No public report this evening.
Thank you. We do have another notice from the Water Authority. There is a water. Ms. Braz reported there were 3 water line breaks. All were repaired. They occurred at 937 Sherwood Road, 212 Avenue L, and at the intersection of Cascade and Braddock. Other committee reports. Do we have any reports from Connect?
The Connect meeting is tomorrow, so we'll have a report next.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Mr. Lawrence, Allegheny League of Municipalities.
Nothing to report.
Anything from ALOC?
No.
I'm sorry, Allegheny County Boroughs Association, Ms. Martin.
No.
Anything on the Municipal League?
No.
I have nothing from the COG. Ms. Lewis, Southeast Tax Collection Committee.
No.
And anything from the Tri-Cog Land Bank?
Not yet.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will take public comments on agenda items and non-agenda items. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Forest Hills will be permitted to address council on any issue, whether appearing on today's agenda or not. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them, who may speak for a maximum of 10 minutes. Speakers are asked to use the microphone at the speaker stand, clearly state your name and spell it, and state your address for the record. If you have any documents to share with the council members, you may present them to the borough manager now or to myself. Council president will determine how those materials will be distributed and viewed for the meeting. Speakers are reminded that council uses these comment periods as opportunities to gather information and not to respond directly to concerns raised. Information gathered will not be discussed at the meeting, but instead will be referred by the council president to the appropriate committee for review and discussion at the next committee meeting. If it is not a matter for deliberation by a committee, but requires more immediate attention, it will be referred to the borough manager, who will respond by phone and or email within 5 business days following the meeting. So do we have any speakers, any takers?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bruce Seaback, SIVAK. I live at 521 Decatur Avenue. I just had a couple of comments and a question. First, they have continued to work on the project modificator, which I am grateful for. A lot of people worked very hard to get that done with leftover money and hopefully budgeted money for this year to complete that project. In the past few years, I attended a lot of the public works meetings, committee meetings. I learned a lot from those folks. They gave me a lot of information. I gave them a lot of it. Unfortunately, when I stopped here last week for the committee meeting, it was told us to close meeting. My question is this: what's the reason for closing a public meeting to work for the past couple of years? All I'm looking for is an explanation. Did someone give me that?
We do not discuss your questions. Someone will get back to you.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I can just say one thing. Before that these, every one of those committees had the opportunity to share what they had discussed. It's not on this agenda anymore. That's a concern. If one person is making the decision to close these meetings, that's even a bigger concern. I'm hoping that this was the decision of the full council that was voted. If it wasn't voted on, we're leading in the wrong direction. There was a statement made by the president that earlier about being open. This is not being very open. You're closing those meetings to the public. I'm assuming that's all of the committee meetings. And if it is all of committee meetings, public safety has a problem, finance has a problem, and so on. Thank you very much. I will be waiting for the response.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Hello, my name is Pat Harris, EATHARRIS. Live at 316 Washington Road here in Forest Hills. I'm here representing the Borough Town Subcommittee that I co-chair with Darcy Human. For new council members, Borough Town is a program of the Pennsylvania Audubon Council that promotes community-based conservation activities that make the environment healthier for birds and by extension, all of us. Last April, with the approval of council, we applied and accepted into the program. Immediately, a group of very enthusiastic volunteers from the subcommittee of the EAC and got to work. We were able to hire a bird habitat expert, and with the help of tree and shrub committee members, investigated what birds use the bird and wildlife sanctuary and put together recommendations for improvements. We engaged with families at events including the library summer block party, July 4th Community Day, and a bird walk in Main Park. Most of the group's dedication and hard work was poured into the restoration of 18,000 square feet section of Ryan Glen Park that had suffered as a result of the Ardmore Boulevard culvert replacement. In addition to the Birdtown committee members, 17 community members spent 77 hours tending the soil and planting 170 native plants to create a pollinator habitat. We also kept the plants alive by watering throughout weeks with no rain, with the help of Public Works with filling more rain barrels. In addition to the many donations of plants and tools, the project was supported by 2 $500 grants from the Endangered Species Coalition and some startup funds from the Western PA Audubon Society. We're grateful to the council for entrusting us with the public space. Our care for the garden will be ongoing. Please visit the garden this summer, or better yet, join our watering group. I got another page. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi guys, my name is William Borough, I live at 108 Forest Glen Drive. I came to council, I was on council a few years back, but the borough is deteriorating faster than I can see before my eyes. I own 7 properties in this borough, and I bought and sold 4 properties that were off the tax rolls, either at share sale or from the tri-county limit. My parents and I have called numerous times to the borough over the past few months. The first big topic, the delineators at Dunkin' Donuts, it's private property. Wow, I'm getting cited for clean fill that's in my yard because the borough is not maintaining their land behind my house and it's sliding over the hill. I'm getting cited for that. But why is it Dunkin' Donuts being cited for delineators that are directing traffic so cars aren't illegally making a left turn on Fillmore Road? And then I'm turning right on Fillmore Road off Ardmore, and the back half of my truck's still sticking out on Ardmore when there's 18 wheelers going 60, 70 miles an hour. They're ready to take me out. I don't understand why they haven't been cited and taken to court. That's number one. Number two is the paving that was done in Vine Alley. I appreciate that we're doing alleys and we have enough money to spend on paving an alley. But I called, and my father also called as well. The sides of the asphalt going down on every driveway transition have to be sealed to the concrete or the transitions point. If not, those people are shoveling that it's already ripping up the brand new asphalt. The corner of Vine Alley and the ambulance station, I don't know what that intersection is coming in there. Halsey, if you go down there and look, right, Bob, if you're looking at the public works roof of the garage, the entire asphalt corner that was just poured this fall is all completely crumbled. Like, the job wasn't done whatsoever to any spec. I don't understand who was reviewing that or who was watching that, but any transition point the whole way down to everyone's property has to be sealed in part. And I don't think any of them were whatsoever. And to Bruce's point, the meetings need to stay open so that the public can have comments like this. Having only one time a month is very difficult for people's schedules to work it in. So when you can show up to an agenda meeting, a committee meeting, it's a lot easier, it's a lot less people, and it's easier to talk freely. Also to Bruce's point of pouring concrete in these kind of temperatures, it affects the lifespan of concrete. If it's not done, like, literally to the T. So I appreciate the moving the funds around and getting this done to a street that I own a property down the hill from Bruce as well. It needed done, I get it, but pouring in sub 32-degree temperatures, sub 40-degree temperatures is not good for concrete. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public?
Pamela Crest, KRESS, 360 Avenue A, which is down by the west. Leadville and feet. So I'll start there. That's a mess down there. I called a few years ago. Weeds overgrown and there were wires laying in the yard. I believe that developer probably gets his $300 citation every 6 months or every year maybe. Pays it and nothing happens. It looks like zero, so I thought. There's just a bunch of pile of bricks and a mess. The fence is breaking down, kids are getting in there, cars, there's been cars in there. I don't know what's going on down there, but if you walk along there and then even shove on by tugboats, there's just litter strewn. It's just kind of a mess. And I do know that I've had neighbors citing for grass that's a little bit high. And it's a mess, it's a mess. And if I'm thinking about adding on my house or selling, it's gonna be. We'll get a really much lower amount of money for it, even though I'm putting money into it to, I'll keep it in limits on it, so to speak. Speaking of that, the house next door to me is now condemned. There's a green sign on the door. There are things falling off the house, but from what I understand, the last conversation with the code enforcer, I guess your subcontract, whatever he is, said that the house will not come down unless things are falling into my yard. Well, it's a nice front porch is falling off, the roof is caving in, back porch is caving off, the gutters are falling off. I'd like to know where it goes from here. I don't know if it is the borough's responsibility to raise that thing. I don't know whose responsibility is to report that it is becoming a danger. They boarded up, borough came and boarded up the garage because I told him it was full of hazardous materials. Like the man had left all kinds of flares and oils and petrol. So that I'm wondering where that goes. I'm going to go ahead and answer you. Hopefully pass it. I'll go to this one. I just submitted yesterday. I started it last month, November, December. A traffic study for the avenues, particularly Avenue A. Starts off where Mr. Thielacker used to live and it goes down to where I live, at the end of that. And his house is up towards where I guess the study started. It's difficult to drive down. It's difficult to turn down there. It's difficult for people to find your houses down there. I like to have a little yard sale for my neighbors. I put signs up on Greensburg Pike. I have so many people telling me it took them 20 minutes to find the address. And I know we've addressed this one. We did 30-something years ago. We addressed it. And one lady on L didn't want to have to drive all the way around the block. And then the emergency vehicle said, well, we can't go one way because it's better to go the other way. And nothing was done. And it just remains. So I have paid 500,000 because the damage to my car was like $2,000 because people get down there, don't know where they are, use the split of A and D as a 3-point turn and crunch our cars. My husband needs a whole body work. He's got dings and dents and pushes in the fenders. I have the door and the fender crushed. Nobody needs to know. There are no cameras and there are no good directions down there. So the police chief, I believe, directed, I think it was Thielacker Senior, before he retired, came down and put a do not turn around sign and another do not enter because at one point somebody changed the alley to one way from tugboats up past the balloon and up Avenue A. Nobody pays attention. They turn around, we're talking, anybody turns around. I have directed Dollar General semis out of there. It is just too hard to drive down there. Honestly, I back up, he's backing up and he's turning and he's shimmying and he tries to get to the top Dollar General. So I submitted a traffic study and I know there's a slight curve in the road and there is a grade in the road. I do not believe it's graded 8%. There are places between the top of B and the bottom of A where a speed bump maybe could go, maybe a stop sign, you can use my tree, right there, where my tree, put a stop sign in or something. Change them to one ways, change something to one ways, it's just not good driving, and for me to have to take my car, I do use my driveway. But the two cars don't fit in my driveway, so somebody's on the street, myself and my husband, and he does get his dance hall from people turning around in the middle of whatever. So if you would please move on that and get a traffic study, we did have a lot of people sign that, just about everybody on the street signed it. Avenue D could probably use one, because once they get around the bend and head down D, they fly down there too, because it's a nice straight flat stretch. But there's a lot of transient, there's a lot of people not home, and couldn't get too many people. The idea of a camera scared like 3 or 4 of them. But I would really like somebody to make sure that we try to get a traffic study done and try to do something with the Adams stuff, because it's for 35 years since I've been living there, it's not good. The last thing, last February, I got a little thing in my newsletter, you know, a little digital newsletter that said, hurry, hurry, we're having an alley naming contest. So I picked all of these names for all the little alleys that drove around Borough and found out where they are. And just in the last newsletter that came out, it said, we are going to form a committee to decide on the codifying of road names. Had I known I had another year, I would have come up with better names. So if you could update on where we are on that, you know.
Also, if someone wants to make a note, there may be money sitting in the budget from 21 Marion Avenue's demolition grant that we were issued when I was on council. 21 Marion Avenue.
You already had your,
I'm just making note of it because it has to be used for demolition.
is there anybody else for a public comment? Okay, we'll move on to our invited speakers. Are you public or invited?
He's invited.
I'm invited.
Okay, so Shade Tree and Shrub Committee?
Great.
Go ahead.
My name's Brian again. I live at 14 Niagara Road in Borstal. And as a member of the Tree and Shrub Committee, I'm here today to present council with a brief review of accomplishments of the Tree and Shrub Committee in 2025. And they are, number one, responding to over 30 requests from borough residents with tree issues to assist the borough manager with caring for borough trees. Second, ongoing coordination with representatives of UK Light to help facilitate their 2026 power line pruning to safeguard a tree canopy. Third, working on the successful continuing knotweed eradication projects in Main Park and Rhinelander Park in coordination with DPW personnel who provide assistance with application of herbicide. Fourth, working on recommendations to council for revisions to the tree ordinance, especially to address oak and elm disease. This concern for oak wilt disease included informing borough residents by way of door hangers on recognizing and preventing its spread. Fifth, organizing ongoing participation in a countywide tree and shrub committee group consisting of 11 communities to share ideas and challenges and hear from local experts who address common problems. Sixth, organizing the Arbor Day celebration, which is a requirement for Tree City designation, which included participation of students from Trinity Christian School and representatives from Pittsburgh, who provided the trees and did a planting demonstration of 2 American hornbeam trees in Main Park. Seventh, establishing a working relationship with Woodland Hills High School students who had participated in various planting and pruning projects in the borough. Eighth, pruning, or otherwise assessing the needs of every median tree along Ardmore Boulevard, from Avenue B to Morrow Road. Ninth, planting and maintaining hundreds of native shrubs along Ardmore Run in Main Park and in the Van Shell and Westinghouse Lodge garden beds, and watering those plants in Main Park and along Rockwood Avenue approximately once per week during the spring and summer. Of course, none of these accomplishments would have been possible without 736 volunteer hours contributed by borough residents, an estimated contribution to the borough of $23,758. 10th, of all our accomplishments in 2025, possibly the most important will be our participation in the first half of the DCNR grant, which made the tree inventory possible by Bartlett tree experts. It is the execution of the second half of the grant, approximately $80,000, that will have long-term benefits for Forest Hills because it calls for significant tree planting. Therefore, we respectfully are requesting the Borough Council to rescind the existing tree planting prohibition in order to not forgo the remainder of the DCNR grant, approximately $80,000. 2026 marks our 40th year as a tree city. To celebrate this milestone, we would like to offer more opportunities for resident engagement, including the native tree plant sip. We understand that there is an opportunity for revisions to the borough budget, in which case we would like to request at least $3,000 be made available to the committee to support such programs. Last November, the Tree and Shrub Committee submitted our recommendations to the Borough Council for the 2026 tree budget. Our recommended budget included a modest increase in the tree maintenance budget from $150,000 in 2025 to $180,000 in 2026, and a prudent storm damage contingency budget of $80,000, as well as a new line item for tree planting and supplies of $10,000 and a programming budget of $6,000. We noted that the current proposed budget for 2026 did not incorporate any of these recommendations. We would encourage Borough Council to reevaluate the 2026 tree budget in light of the advisory committee's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. We have someone from the EAC. No one? Okay. Okay, then we'll move on to the rest of our business. First up is operations and policy, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve December 2nd, 2025 agenda meeting minutes and December 17th, 2025 council meeting minutes.
Second.
Comments? Let's have a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the appointment of Sarah Marks to the Planning Commission to fill the remainder of Austin Weinman's term ending February 28, 2028. Mr. Weinman is no longer a resident of the borough. Second.
Comments? Let's have a voice vote, please. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The comments are there. I have nothing else to report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Finance Committee, Mr. Thielacker.
Thank you, Mr. President. One motion tonight is the approval of December 2025 bills totaling $1,284,365.53.
Second.
Any comments? I have a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And for the general report, the committee met today for the first time with new finance committee members. Met with Alice and Steve unavailable for the budget and concerns that they had from the previous year into this year. They don't believe there's anything necessarily wrong this time. The general fund, the sewer fund, there were improvements, any of that. What we did find this year would be the fire protection fund, which I guess Steve had mentioned as well when his first review of the budget occurred, where I know there were some bills from December that were approved to be paid, but there is not any money to pay. So that's something we're gonna have a discussion about, is insurance costs going up and some kind of things that were maybe budgeting improperly, probably years from there. There is enough money in that fund to pay everything.
Okay, we will come to that a little bit later in the agenda.
Sounds good. I'll mention that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Borough property, Mr. Bacon.
I have no motion this evening, just general report, the steps project is still continuing, as well as the new bridge and playground structure in the main park that people probably noticed. Some things to, look for us working on soon. Thanks, Mr. Bolo's still here. I'm wondering if we have any update on the tree ordinance language that we were waiting on. Or if that's still in progress. Mr. Corporal, are you there? All right, we'll confirm several on that, and we'll be having our first committee meeting for the year on Tuesday at 9 a.m.
I'm here, but I think you were going in and out. I didn't realize that you were speaking to me.
Okay, I was just wondering if the tree ordinance language that we were waiting on just a final check for was still in progress.
Oh, yes, yep, yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll be moving forward with that, presumably next month or soon after. That concludes Borough property.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Planning and zoning, Ms. Lewis.
I have no report. I'm new to that committee and the chair, and we haven't met yet. So I will have a report next month.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Public Works, Ms. Martin.
Thank you, President Bayeki. We had our first meeting, everyone's new on the Public Works Committee, but Mr. Brett was kind enough to give us an update and fill us in. But I'm pleased to report in the meantime that we've received 3 sewer grants. The LSA for $500,000, the 10% source flow reduction project we received from Senator Fetterman, $500,000, and then the Avenue F, we just received this one. That was the Pennsylvania Small Water and Sewer Grant. And that one was for $250,000, plus there's, I think 50% of Alcoasand Grove. Did I get that all right? Trying to take charge of this committee, but it's a lot of stuff new. Would you please help me out if I didn't?
That is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Brett. And that ends Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Public safety, Mr. DeCrosta is now available. Is there anyone else that has a report? Mr. Lyons?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't believe we have anything specific to report from public safety for the month of January. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Under old business, we have none. Under new business, I'd like to just point out that we have in your packet, you had a new resident welcome letter. It's something that we haven't done for a while to welcome new residents to our borough. It's a draft letter. I only mention this because I'd like everyone to review that, and maybe we can discuss it at our next meeting. So that, if you have any ideas, suggestions, changes and what have you, we could do it then. If you have something you want to add now, please feel free. Ms. Lewis.
This came to my mind, because I think they're meeting this evening. I think it's cool that Forest Hills has a farmer's market It's very popular, and so I think that would be nice to mention in the letter as well.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? No, okay. The next item, about community engagement events, and this is, something that I wanted to bring up because it's, impacts, what we can do and what we can't do, especially this summer. And then moving on into some of the winter events. As an example, just to let you know that, on average, we make anywhere between $900 and $1,100 during the summer peak season for rental of that lodge. In addition, there's cleaning costs that are about $80 per event. Anytime that we have an event that takes place there that displaces any of that rental, that's a loss of revenue that we need to keep and be mindful of. For some of our events, sometimes the entertainment costs are between $300 and $1,000 to bring in entertainment. Sometimes we have bands, we've had the brass orchestra and so forth, and those are all costs that we have to pay. And for this year, in the budget, current budget, we budgeted $2,750. Last year, the cost that we incurred was $11,644. We had to find different places to take that money from the general fund. In addition, the year before that, it was approximately $10,240. So there's a consistent amount of money that's being spent for some of these community events. Now, we do not want to not have the community events, but again, I want to have everybody be aware of and be mindful as we move forward and entertain, no pun intended, entertain other ideas for some other events during those peak days of rental that we're going to be further in the hole than we already are. So just to keep that in mind. Some of the upcoming ones too, I'll just point out, holiday light contest costs us $250. We have sponsorship programs for the Rotary, the Woodland Hills High School, and some others that we budgeted for $850. Community Days, $1,000. Memorial Day is $250, and some others for about $400. So anyway, again, keep those in mind as we move forward in our other meetings and deliberations about what those things will cost. Does anybody have any questions? Mr. Bacon?
Yes, I think for folks listening on that, I think we should maybe clarify that a reason we're not going more this night is that Mayor DeMarco has significant interest in discussing this and all, and that's why we're kind of not discussing this now. Will be more in the future.
Right, and I want to give her the opportunity. She has some ideas, and that she's going to flesh out for us at the next meeting. Okay. I have another item for new business, and because this just came up, we need a motion. So I'm going to throw this out: a motion to amend the agenda to add a motion to adopt Resolution 1299, amending Resolution 1297, which is the 2026 fee resolution, to increase the fire service fee. Do we have any?
Second.
We need a motion.
So moved.
We need a motion.
Oh, right, yeah, because we can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. I'll take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so the next item for business now would be to adopt a resolution 1299. But before we do that, we need to talk about what the increase in the fire fee could potentially be. Currently, for single-family homes, it's $55 per year. For multi-unit residentials, it's $27.50 per year. And for the commercial business, it's $110 per year. Do we have any suggestions? I have some here, but I'll throw this out for everyone. Mr. Bacon?
I want to defer to Mr. Thielen.
Mr. Thielen?
Yeah, so our discussions today, there's obviously we have some more long-term discussions about what we think it might should be for longer-term projects, things like that. But at least to get us through currently where, looking at I don't have all the numbers in front of me. And that budgeted amount was $15,000 for insurance. It was $35,000. We had $20,000 more than the budgeted amount. We had $16,000 in bills that, you guys all approved to pay, were unable to be paid because there wasn't any money in that fund as of, $8,000 or something like that, or as of so. We quickly talked about today, we discussed here is that raising the $20.75 for a residential house and keeping the same structure. Based on what it was, to double for a commercial $150 and $37.50 per round unit. Bring us in, give or take 60,000, I think more. Which is more than enough to cover all these costs that we're currently keep going up.
Anyone else? Mr. Bacon?
I just want to point out that we get an incredible deal with our volunteer fire department as far as what the borough pays for the service that we get. And this fee hasn't been increased in quite some time. This is something that we think will keep it healthy for a decent amount of time and help us invest in the ahead of deferred maintenance and issues for a while. So we think it's a pretty reasonable increase to ask $20 a year to keep firefighters well equipped and insured and everything. And that we expect it will at least covers for a little while and can be a real prudent measure to get ahead of increasing costs.
Okay, thank you. I'd also like to add that we are fortunate to have a volunteer fire department in our community here. The response time is, more than some of the other community, less response time than some of the other communities experience. And, these are costs that go up every year. Everyone is used to having to deal with increased costs to maintain their homes, their cars, etc. So these are, as Mr. Thielacker said, these haven't gone up in years. I echo what Mr. Bacon said as well. So if we are all in agreement, I will.
Mr. President, I have my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms.
All
Martin.
I wanted to say was I agree with the budget figures that Mr. Thielacker suggested.
Thank you. Okay, so what we have here now is a motion to adopt Resolution 1299, amending Resolution 1297, the 2026 fee resolution to set the fire services fee as follows. Single family homes at $75 per year, multi-unit residential at $37.50 per unit per year, and commercial businesses at $150 per year.
Second.
We need a motion.
Okay.
I'll make that, go ahead.
I'll make that.
Okay. We have
Mr. President, make sure we take a public comment opportunity here, please.
yes, thank you. You have a second.
Second.
Okay, do we have anyone in the public that would like to comment?
Hello.
Yes.
We needed the fire department once due to my stupidity, but they were there in minutes, and I think $20 raise is nothing for what he get.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Unless there are any other comments, Mr. Bacon?
Just because I don't think we actually mentioned, we kind of alluded to this, but the reason that we are pushing this as an urgent thing tonight is due to the fact that we need to get the fees requested out to residents as soon as possible. And if we didn't do this right now, then we'd be going another month with only like $9,000 in the fire fund, which would require shuffling money around in the general fund, for emergencies or other contingencies. So that is why we are expediting this right now. It's not any sort of plans like spring a higher cost on people without the longer full discussion and process. Thank you.
Okay, we can have a voice vote on this, please. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, our next scheduled meeting is the agenda setting meeting, which is on Tuesday, February the 3rd. And our next council meeting is Wednesday, February the 18th. Unless there are objections, the meeting will be adjourned. Hearing none, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Corporal.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the accommodation. Appreciate it.
You should probably get your address and stuff added to the record for a week.
Not fair.
All right. No, not yet.